I'm Peter Reinhart, and I've been searching for the perfect pizza my entire life. It's a quest that has taken me all over the world. It's become about so much more than pizza. I've gotten to know some of the world's greatest pizzaiolos and met artisans who make cheese, bake bread, and even grow the best tomatoes. The one thing that unites them all? Their passion for perfection.
What's burning in their belly, though that's really what all of this is about.
We never know where the quest will take us, but we'll follow that trail wherever it leads. Welcome to Pizza Quest.
Pizzeria Mozza is the brainchild of Nancy Silverton and Mario Batali, two great talents in their own right who have joined forces to create what we think might be one of the best pizzerias ever.
My inspiration for the crust was from a bakery in Rome. It was just the open hole structure and that lightness.
You can play
and
off
so
of
that's
that, yeah.
what it was for me, is, kind of looking at the side. And that was really from there. And then I said, this is what I want to do. And then I came back and I tried to replicate it.
You can tell that many, many years ago, she's always kind of had that thought in the back of her mind what she would do if asked or put in a position to make a pizza dough, and you can tell it definitely reflects in the style of pizza that we have here today.
Now she's had a chance to actually do it,
Yeah.
And you're the guy that has to make it happen.
That's right.
The challenge facing an award-winning chef like Nancy Silverton is how to maintain those high standards and the quality for which she's known, while at the same time producing as many as 700 pizzas a day. As the original founder of La Brea Bakery, where Nancy honed her baking skills, she developed a method for maintaining the highest quality standards while producing at large volumes. And she still continues working with La Brea Bakery to supply her signature pizza doughs.
You're making a lot of pizza dough here.
Yes, we are.
For one restaurant, which says a lot about how much pizza is being made at that restaurant.
We like to start off the dough with a very slow pre-ferment to really develop the flavor and the characteristics of the dough.
So it's wetter than an actual dough.
Yes, it is.
It's like a loose, almost like a puddle.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Here we're just combining the ingredients.
This is
That's
great,
all we're
yeah.
trying to do.
We call this a spiral mixer. And how long does it take for this to happen?
We just really want to mix this until all the ingredients are incorporated. That's all.
There's no
We're
need
not
to
trying to develop it or anything.
This is the part we're adding that's sort of the proprietary part. We see things going on, but we don't know what they are. And but this is what makes this dough different from everybody else's dough.
Okay,
So now you see the dough is really...
look at that. Look at the gluten development now. You can stretch that dough as thin as what we call a window pane, and the light will shine through. It's translucent and yet holding together.
So each one of these is a dough ball?
Yep, each one of those is a dough ball.
We're gonna get 24 pieces of 24 pizzas out of this one giant piece of dough.
Yep.
Right now, we're getting them ready to go to the restaurant. We're getting them ready to be
We're getting them
packed
ready
and
for
ready to go.
transport.
Okay. So all these are gonna get packed, they're gonna get stacked, and then they go pretty much on a truck and get ready
On
to
a
be
truck
sent
and
over.
off to the restaurant.
That's the dough we saw being made, delivered over from La Brea Bakery here now to Pizzeria Mozza, and the dough balls are ready to be turned into pizzas.
Because it's a sensitive thing, and dough is very sensitive and it's very real because it's a living thing. This is basically the first it's seeing of daylight or anything. So it's, imagine if you like to jog in the morning, you have to give a little bit of a stretch. You got,
Little
you got
Pilates action.
a little stretch, a little warm up.
yeah.
You can't really be as aggressive a stretcher. So we have, so there's our hole.
And you can save that pizza even with the hole, huh?
Oh yeah.
All right.
So what we do is we put a little olive oil, which basically gives it a nice golden color. Each.
Nice.
You wanna?
And they understood that. Notice how thin that sauce is. It's not like paste. It spreads real easy.
Definitely gonna reach a boiling point when it gets into the oven.
And it'll thicken up in the oven probably.
It'll tighten up.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, now we get some of the fresh mozzarella going on. Not a lot, it looks like.
Not a ton, and I learned this from many different pizziolos, is that you want to treat the pizzas kind of like salads. You don't want to overdress them.
All right.
Less
is more.
Less is more. Our next pizza, this is probably the most popular, is definitely the fennel sausage.
You make the sausage from scratch?
We make the sausage from scratch. So the fennel sausage pie definitely starts in a very obscure way in which most Italians would not. Or when I first started going to Panicale in Italy, there's a pizzeria there that specializes in this pizza. It's sausage, onion, cream, and mozzarella in there as well. Let's give it a little bit of a stringiness to it.
Wow, now it's getting ready to go in.
Then it goes right in.
We
did so much homework on Armandino and covering his salumi that we should just bear an ode to him and make him a pizza.
We'll do the...
and then we'll send it to him.
what would be the pepperoni, the equivalent of a pepperoni pizza anywhere else, but here, pepperoni elevated to an art form.
Yes.
Some of that beautiful mozzarella cheese.
Yep. And then we're gonna go ahead and add on some of those Fresno chilies.
Fresno chilies. Real artisanal salami from Seattle, Washington. Armandino Batali's salami.
Give it a shake.
Going into the oven. There it is.
So that's definitely
Fennel sausage.
Fennel sausage.
Look at this. This is what I live for. Is that wide open?
Yeah.
So you can actually see the little threads of gluten in there. It's like toffee, and yet inside it's not dry. It's creamy.
All of us are trying to give equal attention to both parts of the pizza, the crust and the topping.
Mm-hmm.
And for so long, that wasn't the case, right?
Right.
And there are people that say, please put more cheese on your pizza, or but I don't like that floppy, wet kind of Neapolitan.
Right. Like we were talking earlier with Matt about how your slices do stand up.
Yeah.
And I think Americans want that. And the topping flavors, no matter how good they are, if the crust isn't great, then people don't appreciate the toppings as much because they're not set up. The crust sets everything else up.
Yes.
You must have had some interesting brainstorming sessions about this. I mean, how did it evolve? Yeah.
I guess I ran into Mario and I said, hey, I'm going to open a restaurant and it's going to be centered around mozzarella. It's going to have a mozzarella bar. And he said, I'm in. Joe and I are in. Let's do it. So that's really how it happened. And then I got a phone call from the leaseholder of where this pizzeria is, and next door where the osteria is. And he said, why don't you come look at my space? There was an article that had come out in the paper that said that I was looking for a space. Mm-hmm. It occurred to me that he had this pizzeria next door, and then I reminded myself that I had always stored somewhere back there that one day I'm gonna figure out how to make the pizza that I want to make. And this would have been the excuse. So I told him I'd take this space if I could have the pizzeria. And so that mozzarella-driven restaurant became 2 restaurants.
Now let's start over here with this one because there's big leaves on there. They look to me like sage leaves.
They're fried sage
Fried
leaves.
sage.
And there's mozzarella and fontina and a sotto cenere with truffles.
Right. So we have a truffle
flavor. You have the elasticity of the mozzarella, right? And you have the creaminess of and the flavor of the fontina.
Great.
And then in the mushroom, we have cremini mushroom. We have portobello, so large portobello.
Also, okay.
Yes. And we have shiitake.
Shiitake, okay.
Yeah, and those are the 3
they're
mushrooms.
All fresh mushrooms that have
They're
been
all fresh mushrooms, and we first cook them off to concentrate the flavor, reduce some of the moisture in the wood oven in the morning. And then this pizza right here, the prosciutto and rucola, is very common in Italy.
It's very traditional there, yeah, and it's put on after the pizza comes out of the oven. Once you've had what I call memorable pizza, it raises your expectations for pizza.
I think pizza is one of those things where it's kind of like bread was, where it seems to me the most obsessive, perfectionist, focused chefs are gravitating towards it. And I think it's the simplicity of it that really attracts them. I mean, it really is, it's bread with a topping. And so you take all of the difficulties that come with a naturally fermented bread dough, and then you add another layer of difficulties. So it's, if you're of a naturally obsessive turn of mind, it's like Everest. Oh, I can go further. I can even do more than I did with bread. And Chris Bianco's that way. It's like, these people, it's like, stripping it away, getting it to the purest, and then making each step of it absolutely perfect.
Pizza's pretty simple. It's just dough with something on it. So what is it that makes Pizzeria Mozza's pizzas so exceptional? They work with locally grown organic produce, they use only the finest meats and cheeses, and there's those special little touches like the dusting of fennel powder on the cornicione. But in the end, it's the dough, that crackly yet creamy crust that really makes the difference. That is what ultimately makes her pizza so memorable. That is gorgeous. All the crispness, total creaminess inside. You can't beat it.